Hey there, this is Dr. Evan Osar with Fitness Education Seminars. Welcome to this webinar. Today we're going to talk about stability and how do you assess specifically for stability in your clients. But before we assess for it, we need to talk about what actually is stability. So let's take the hip joint for example. When we talk about a stable hip joint, we're talking about a centrated hip. So the femoral head is centrated within the acetabulum. This does not mean it's gripped up and it never moves. What it means is we have optimal control at the right time for the task at hand. For example, if I'm standing here, I want optimal centration of the femoral head within the acetabulum. When I'm moving, stepping forward, lunging, squatting, standing on one leg, I still want optimal centration for the task at hand. I still want to maintain a relative centrated femoral head within the acetabulum. We're going to take a look at our client now and show two assessments. And again, you can do any assessment. We're going to look at two assessments, both posture as well as a single leg stance, to see how well your client is stabilizing their core and their hip alignment. So on postural assessment, what we want to see, we're going to focus mostly on the thoraco-pelvic canister. So mostly how the thorax sits over top of the pelvis and how the thoraco-pelvic canister relates to hip centration. So what we want to see is that the thorax sits over top the pelvis. This doesn't tell me if the client is stable or not. It just tells me what is her starting and likely stopping position from movement. How well does she control this position, and what strategy does she use to hold herself in standing? A lot of our clients get discomfort and feel dysfunction as they're standing and or walking. So the postural assessment will help us just kind of get a taste of where what their strategy is and where they're holding their body. So I just want to get a general sense of where is the rib cage over top the pelvis. In Ellen, her rib cage is just slightly back behind the pelvis, just a little bit. Not bad. I'm not seeing anything that's throwing me off. However, I just want to take sense of what happens when she starts to move. I also want to see where is her femoral head relative to her pelvis. So I'm going to put my hand in front and behind the greater trochanter, so that'll give me a general sense of where the femoral head is, and I want to relate that to where her pelvis is. And we can see her femoral head is quite forward in her acetabulum. It shouldn't be more back here. That's about where a more centrated joint position is. So she likes to hold this position forward on her left side. So what I'm going to do with Ellen now is that it doesn't tell me about her stability, but what happens once she moves. Because some people can have poor posture, but as soon as they move, they actually do a good job centrating themselves. So what I want to do is, Ellen, just sit back into a squat, just a mini squat, and then come back up. And then sit back in a small squat again, and come back up. And Ellen keeps this hip forward. She does not centrate it. It does not come back in the socket and centrate in the acetabulum as she goes into her squat. So her strategy, both in standing and squatting, is one that she holds that femoral head forward in the acetabulum. So that tells me she's lost some of that stability or control of her left pelvis. I don't know why, but I just know that's what's happening. The other assessment that's really, really great for thoraco-pelvic and hip alignment is a standing one-leg test. Turn and face the camera. What you're going to look for is how well your client transitions from leg to leg. It should be a relative effortless action to stand and lift one leg. You should see not a lot of sway in your client, and you should not see a lot of shifts, and it should be an elongated process. It should be relatively effortless. So what I want you to do is look at Ellen when she stands on one leg versus the other leg. So lift one leg, Ellen, for me. And look how much she has to sway and how much she has to work at lifting one leg. Switch sides now. And what I'll do is I'll ask Ellen which side's easier. I can tell by looking at her which side looks easier and less effort to me, but I'll check in with Ellen which side is a little harder for you, Ellen. Yeah, and if you see when she stands on her left leg, go one more time, stand on your left leg, you can see she really has to switch or shift her weight over onto to get her weight stable on that left side. Go to the right side, and you can see when she goes on her right side, she's able to elongate. She actually gets longer, so there's a lot less effort, and she has to grip less. And one more thing we can look at is when she goes to her left side, is I'm going to feel real lightly so I don't alter her position, is shift onto this left leg, and you can feel, or I can feel, her femoral head shift forward within the acetabulum. Again, showing me, come back down, that she's lost control not only in her standing posture, not only in her squat, but now in her single leg stance. So that tells me she's lost stability, not why she's lost stability, just that she has lost stability. And now I can go through my functional movement test and or further assessments to see, okay, why is she losing control and stability in that left hip? So what we're looking for on these assessments is whether or not your client can do it with optimal control, not whether they can do it or can't do it, because most of our clients that come into us, they can perform at a pretty high level. But what we're looking for with these assessments is do they have optimal mechanics and optimal control as they do their pattern, or are they compensating, which is going to inhibit them from accomplishing their health and fitness goals. So the assessment specifically will help us determine, are they using an optimal strategy to enable them, and are we doing the job we need to do as fitness professionals to enable them to accomplish their health and fitness goals. This is Dr. Evan Osar with Fitness Education Seminars. Have a great day. We'll catch you next time.